Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Battle of the Wits challenge for the Cellmax Red Zone event. So this is a little bit different to the Super Activation Cellmax event. The Super Activation Cellmax event starts off slow and then ends up becoming quite difficult. Whereas this event, honestly speaking, he changes typing, which does make it quite challenging. Obviously changing typing is always a difficult thing for teams because of the various type disadvantages. It makes building the team a little bit difficult. You kind of have to have a little bit of everything. It also makes doing damage to him a little bit difficult as well. In terms of the rest of the fight, he doesn't hit as hard as some of the other red zone bosses, at least not at full power compared to units like Broly or Sin Shenron or Metal Core Cooler, but he can fire off multiple supers in a turn and he can be relatively challenging. I do find him to be somewhat challenging. I do find him to be quite difficult. In addition to that, we're using the Battle of the Wits team, and specifically we have to have 4 Battle of the Wits category characters on the team. Now, in terms of Battle of the Wits as a category itself, it's pretty decent. It has some really strong LR units, and it's just got some good units in general, but I'm lacking quite a few of them. I only managed to recently just pick up good old Power Awakening Piccolo, so yeah, and I had to use coins for him. So it was a little bit difficult in order to, kind of get the stage done. But yeah, Piccolo helped out a tremendous amount. So the challenge itself says that you need to have 4 Battle of the Wits units on the team, friend not included, sorry. And you can fill up the rest of the team with whichever unit you want. So that's why Piccolo's skill is quite useful. It enables you to not have to use solely Battle of the Wits based characters. The other leads for the Battle of the Wits category are the Super Saiyan Goku, the Carnival LR, who's good because he's a flat 200% lead and he himself is pretty crazy. You've then got the Goku and Vegeta, who've aged quite a bit. The Majin Buu Saga Goku and Vegeta, I wouldn't suggest using them. And then you have the Goku and Piccolo, who I think are pretty good, although a little bit lower on the lead skill in it being 150%. I've obviously decided to go with Tech Power Awakening Piccolo, because he's pretty damn good. He's a Superheroes or Battle of the Wits lead. He's got another 30% for Master, Bond and Disciple, and Movie Heroes. He himself is pretty good. We greatly raised defense on both our 12 and 18G. We also obviously have guard for the first 3 turns. We have 20% damage reduction. We have a full heal if we fall below 30% health. We build up a really big defense depending on how many times we've been hit. And we can give the rest of our rotation key. We also have the giant form, which comes in handy quite substantially. So in general, we're sitting with a pretty decent lead. I think Piccolo is by far and away the best Battle of the Wits lead. But I think you can also obviously run, the Strength Super Saiyan Goku if you really want to. So that's kind of the lead situation. In terms of the rest of the team, from the actual Battle of the Wits category, we have some pretty strong choices. Obviously we've got the recently easy aid physical Piccolo, fantastic unit that obviously is super powerful. Really strong. After his EZA, he heals an absolute crap ton. He also has the ability to foresee super attacks, which is incredibly useful. Being able to foresee super attacks is super helpful, and honestly just can completely change the game, especially in this fight where you're facing 2 enemies at once, or can potentially face 2 super attacks at once. It really helps you to reduce the amount of damage you're taking. Then obviously when he fuses with Kami, we have increased damage potential because he now has the ability to crit, along with also having increased healing and additional super attacks and just a whole bunch of really solid goodies that he provides to the team. So very solid unit. We then also have, at least we've added in the new General Banner Krillin, Really strong unit, raises his attack for 1 turn. The most important thing about Krillin is that he's very solid defensively after firing his super attack. When he takes a hit and after firing his super attack, he's pretty good. He has 150% defense, attack and defense. He has an additional 100% when performing a super attack. He gives World Tournament category allies Ki +2 and 40% attack and defense, although this isn't too critical. He also has Ki +2 and an additional attack and defense of 150%, and a high chance of performing a crit for 4 turns after receiving an attack. And this is where he's really good. He reduces damage received by 20%, plus an additional damage reduction of 20% before attacking. So what this means is, before he attacks, he has 60% damage reduction, because we're always facing one enemy. So in total, he's got 60% damage reduction before attack, 40% afterwards. It's pretty good. It's like really pretty good. Then in terms of, that's obviously, those 2 units, which is incredibly helpful, and obviously really solid for us, at least as like, in terms of running the team and everything like that. The final unit we have is actually a World Tournament unit, and a unit that's been getting a lot of traction recently because he is a very good unit. But we have the Int Jackie Chun, and now Int Jackie Chun is a World Tournament lead. His big thing is he raises defense on his 12 key, he raises his attack and defense on his 18 key, but most importantly, he's first off 50% support for World Tournament units. Now, that's not a major thing, because again, we don't have our main rotations on our World Tournament units, but it's still pretty good. And then he has an additional attack of 20% with each super attack performed. He has an additional defense of 20% with each attack received, both up to 60%. But the big thing is that when he hits an enemy with his 18 key, or his ultra super attack as it's known by, he reduces damage, or he provides damage reduction from that unit for 50% for the duration of that turn. So that's pretty clutch, as you can imagine, or I'm sure as you can understand. It's pretty huge how much damage he can do in that sense, and how much damage he can reduce. Now we also have his active skill, which raises his attack temporarily by 648%, causes damage to the enemy, and gives him a 64% chance of his attacks becoming critical hits. So it's also another way to augment his damage quite substantially. So he's a pretty big unit. He's obviously been getting a lot of traction because of the Goku, the World Tournament Goku, but he's really a very good unit overall. Then the final 2 units that kind of piece together the team. Obviously we're using superhero units, as is the benefit of using Piccolo as our lead. So we have 2 superheroes units. We have the first being Super Saiyan God Goku, just a really good unit whenever you're facing movie boss enemies or pure Saiyans, because of the fact that he has 77% damage reduction, which is huge. He also has Ki +3, attack and defense of 150%. He randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, and he gives himself an additional 7% attack and defense per key sphere obtained. He also has an additional attack and defense of 77% with 2 or more key spheres obtained, and he raises his defense for 1 turn. Now he's just a floating tank, but he's also there to provide rainbow orbs, because we don't have the best pairings. Both Piccolo and Gohan need orbs because their links don't really cut it. So having the 2 of them together with a couple rainbow orbs really does help them out, because it makes them perform a lot better. Like, it makes them really crush out the numbers a lot more, like, consistently, which is huge for the team. Plus the fact that Goku can tank Cell Max at various stages is also obviously incredibly helpful overall. So yeah, and then finally obviously we have Gohan. Gohan is, for me, he's a great unit. I think he's always been a top tier unit. I love this guy. He's got attack effectiveness against all types when you hit his 20 key threshold. He also just fires off a crap ton of super attacks, and he can just do some really big damage. I have also been lucky to get 2 dupes in him, so he is definitely a super hard hitter, and he really helps out in terms of damage. Not to mention, after a couple supers, he is also quite strong defensively. So yeah, overall he just does a great job. Now obviously it can take a while. I would say the big thing with the Cell Max event is it just can take a while. The big reason being is that he just consistently changes type. So if you don't get crit or crits, or you don't have like attacks effective against all types, he can just soak up a lot of damage. And it's not the absolute end of the world, but it does obviously eat away a little bit, you know, at you and your team, and just how you perform, and just everything in general. It's, yeah, it does just take a while. In terms of usage of skills, obviously you can use Piccolo's giant form if you really want to, for some free damage mainly, or unless you're super low on health maybe. Then also you have, of course, you know, physical Piccolo. I transformed him relatively late on. You don't need to transform him early, and the extra damage does help, but honestly speaking, him stacking a little bit is really not the end of the world, as if you transform him too early, he will still take a considerable chunk of damage from the opposition. Yeah, in terms of rotations, it's physical Piccolo and green Power Awakening Piccolo, and then obviously on the other rotation it's tech Power Awakening Piccolo. Yeah, I said green, but tech Power Awakening Piccolo, because Piccolo is always green, and it's the physical Ultimate Gohan. I think both of these rotations work perfectly fine. I think the whole team works fine, to be honest with you. Don't really have an issue running this team. Obviously you can replace the Int LR Jackie Chun with, you know, Strength Super Saiyan Goku with pretty much any unit you want to, as long as you see fit. I do think Battle of the Wits is a bit of a limited category, especially if you don't have the units that you need to have. So don't be like concerned if you're struggling with this one. I myself struggled a little bit with this one because it just took me forever to do without having the appropriate lead. So just, yeah, give it a go. I think, you know, you should be fine at the end of the day. Like, I think you'll be fine. But yeah, it is quite a limiting category. I can totally see that. And it can cause some issues, because even though Cell doesn't hit hard, like I said, he can fire 2 supers. And even though he doesn't hit hard, 2 type disadvantage supers from him do tend to hit hard, if that makes sense. So yeah, that is basically it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. Obviously, I think that completes everything to do with the Red Ribbon Red Zone. So I think we're finally done with all of the missions there, which is pretty cool. But that's basically going to be it for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, as always, please leave a like. It's greatly appreciated. And yeah, I should see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.